What is going on, YouTube? Well, it looks like a lot of the market's down right now. My only advice to you right now would be if you have money, if you have a lot of money, right now is the time you want to buy. Right now is the time, like, if I were to get a bunch of money, I would invest right now. You don't really want to invest when Ethereum, Bitcoin, or Litecoin, or XRP, you don't really want to do it when the market is green, unless you feel like I've said in past videos, unless you feel like it's going to continue to go up, you really don't want to invest at the height. Like right now, I believe Litecoin is at about 39, Ethereum's about 125, and it looks like Bitcoin is at about I'd say 5,900-ish. I will be doing my charts again, I'm hoping by next week, because as you guys know, I recently, almost about 2 or 3 weeks ago, had a seizure, and it really messed up my arms, but my arms are starting to get stronger. I am doing better now. I think just for a while, though, maybe through the weekend, maybe through Monday, we'll see how my arms feel. But maybe for a little while, I'll be doing it this way, but I will get back to my OBS studio because I do like that. But I do want to keep doing shows for you guys because I do enjoy it, But like I said, right now is the time you want to be buying. Litecoin's been, like last night at about 3 o'clock in the morning, I was up still. And Litecoin was at about 42, now it's at about 39, so it hasn't really dropped all that much. Ethereum, however, went up to 154 and has gone down to about 115. 115 would have been a really good point to jump into Ethereum. Because right now, in my opinion, right now is a good time too. 125 is a good spot to jump in. Unless you believe in your gut that it's going to continue to go up, like if it has a lot of strong momentum, because I've noticed there's a pattern. These coins will go up for a little while, but then they'll run out of steam. And once they hit that resistance, it seems like right now, 154 is a resistance for Ethereum. And once it hit 154, it started to get rejected, and then it started going down. I still have 2.01 Ethereum. As I told you guys in the past, I don't care if Ethereum drops to $25. I'm not going to sell it because last year, a few years ago, I remember when it went down to $84. Yes, I freaked out, but I didn't sell. I waited until the summer, and then I got out earlier, but it went up to $360, guys. Ethereum hit 360 back in June. So even if it drops to $84, if you're a new investor and you get scared, I do totally understand. But for all you veterans out there, this is a very serious situation, this coronavirus, but you cannot allow this to influence you in the selling. The only way I sell is, like I said in the past, the only way I sell is if we need to get groceries, if we need gas for our truck, or whatever. If we need to pay a bill, that's the reason why I sell. I don't go online and look for indicators that tells me when to buy or sell, because if you do that, let me tell you, that indicator could be saying sell right now, and in 2 or 3 seconds later, they could switch it to green to buy. I don't trust that stuff. I always trust my gut instinct. Sometimes I'm wrong. I admit that. But for the most part, I do believe you just can't sell because everybody else. Okay, here's an analogy. If Bitcoin decides to just completely jump off the cliff and it plummets to 1,000, I wouldn't care. I only have a couple of $100. I got about $250 worth of Ethereum. And now if I had thousands worth into it, yes, of course I would be very concerned. But that's why I don't really put a lot. Now, I could be possibly buying some silver pretty soon, or I might mix it up a little bit of silver and crypto. But I like to balance out my portfolio. I want to try to maybe get some Litecoin or maybe get some Bitcoin Cash. It's always good to diversify your portfolio. You don't want to be like me and be rigid and say, okay, Ethereum's the only thing I want. I do too have to start thinking, well, one day Ethereum might be doing bad, but Bitcoin Cash might be doing great, or Litecoin might be doing great. So what you got to do is you got to diversify. You got to have a little bit, even if it's 0.045 of Bitcoin, it's good to have a little bit of each. Have your hand in the bucket, a little bit of each coin. That way, if Ethereum's in the tank and everybody else is doing good, then hey, you're fine. But I am a huge fan of Ethereum because I am a big believer in it. But I do have to admit, the one problem I do have, when you have these big dips like this from 154 to 125 or 115, the problem with that is it almost makes this look like a couch casino. And I do not want cryptocurrencies to I do not want crypto to be laughed at. I don't want people to start thinking of it as a joke. And I don't want people to start saying, it's just a couch casino. That's all it is. Because when you have violent drops like that, to a new investor, that's going to scare away new investors, guys. I mean, I know a lot of you probably can't really control the market, but if enough people could, you got to let it stabilize, let it build support. I always see people posting messages, oh, it just keeps going down. Well, it keeps going down because you keep selling. You never let it keep climbing. But the problem with that is you got to build a support. You can't. I knew when it was 250, I knew that it was going to crash. I just had a feeling, even without this corona emergency, it was going to eventually crash because Ethereum did not have enough time to get a base support for it. All it had was just where it was left, and then there was no support, and then it just plummeted. So what we need to do is we need to build support at 125, 127. It's going to be boring to watch, but I would rather keep it at that level for a long time and let it slowly but surely inch up. Don't, if you really want to build, some real good potential investment, you cannot you can't just keep having these parabolic moves are fun. Maybe once or twice a year is not going to kill you. But if you keep having them all the time, people are just going to look at it and they're going to laugh and they're going to say, I'm not putting serious money into that. I don't want to lose my butt. So right now, my suggestion is if you do have a lot of money, I would definitely buy now. Buy when it's red. Now, you gotta trust your gut instinct. If you think it's going to keep plummeting, then wait until it gets down to about the lowest point that you think it's going to go, and then get in. Unless you think it's going to keep going up, don't buy in when it's at the highest green and it's green. I like to try buy when it's red. Sometimes that always don't work out that way, but if I were to give advice to you, always buy when it's red, because it's just not a good idea to buy at the top. But like I said, Bitcoin's got a support of about 5,900 to about 6,500. Ethereum's got a support of about 125 to 154 for today. I mean, I would say for the next week, but it's been so volatile with this coronavirus stuff going on. There is a chance, guys, that it could continue to fall lower. Don't be surprised. But I'm hoping that that's not the case. In Litecoin, you got a support of about 35 to 45. In XRP, you got a support of about, say, 11 cents to 16 cents. I still think XRP has a lot of potential of exploding. It's just right now at this time, I would rather see maybe it go down to about 8 or 9 cents, maybe 7 cents. Then I might feel comfortable getting in. But, we still have a lot of room to go down too, so just be very aware. Check your accounts often and just keep an eye on it, because if guys like me and people like me, ladies, guys like me, who have 250, we can afford to write it out. But I'm just talking about all you folks that have a lot more money, say 2 to 10,000, something like that. I would never feel comfortable dropping $10,000 into crypto right now. Once I see them getting further regulations on it, where, not just anybody just anybody should be able to do it, but they should do a background check on you. Get tighter regulations on it. I know some people don't like the R word, some people don't like regulations, but right now, the way it is, I just don't see how it could really build a strong, solid base until you start getting more regulations on it. So that's just my thought of it. So I'm just going to end on today. Don't sell out of fear. Don't make the same mistakes I did. Just really before you decide, here's what I do. if I think I'm gonna sell my Ethereum, I'll go on Google. I'll really do a lot of research.